Officer, I'm going to need you to cancel that tow truck right now.
Ma'am, this lot is private property. Whoever called it in has authorization to remove vehicles.
I know it's private property. I own it.
Ma'am, I can't just take your word from register the vehicle, please.
Match the recorded deed, filed 2019.
This doesn't mean anything to me out here. The tow is our...
Dr. Camille Reeves was 54 years old. She had spent 31 years building something most people only dream about. Born in Charlotte, North Carolina, the daughter of a school teacher and a plumber, Camille had put herself through NC State University on scholarships and weekend waitresing shifts. She earned her doctorate in civil engineering by 32. By 45, she had founded Reeves Property Holdings LLC, a real estate development firm with assets across 4 counties. On the morning of March 4th, a Tuesday, Dr. Reeves had arrived at 8:07 a.m. at the Garrison Street Commerce Center, a 12-unit mixed-use property she had owned outright since 2019. She was there for a routine inspection before a 9:30 tenant meeting. The charcoal blazer she wore was tailored. The red SUV she drove was registered in her name. The parking space she'd parked in was space 1A, designated for the property owner. The document in her blazer pocket was the recorded deed to the building. Officer Raymond Davis didn't know any of that yet. He was about to find out the hard way. The Garrison Street Commerce Center sits at the intersection of Garrison and Pekin Street in Charlotte's Midtown District, a 4-story brick and glass structure built in 2004, renovated in 2018, and valued at approximately $4.1 million. On that Tuesday morning, Officer Davis had been dispatched at 7:54 a.m., following a call from a tenant in Unit 6, a bookkeeping firm, claiming an unauthorized vehicle was parked in a reserved lot. What the tenant didn't know, Dr. Reeves had rescheduled her inspection from Thursday to Tuesday at the last moment. Her space, labeled on the pavement in faded yellow stencil, owner had sat empty for 2 weeks while she traveled. The tenant assumed it was abandoned. Officer Davis arrived at 8:05 a.m. He ran the plate. The registration came back to a C. Reeves at a residential address in Dilworth. He did not cross-reference property ownership records. He did not call dispatch to verify. He called a tow truck at 8:09 a.m. before Dr. Reeves arrived. She pulled in at 8:07 a.m., 2 minutes before he called the tow. She saw him on the phone standing next to her car. And that's when the body cam footage begins. The footage is clear. The morning light is sharp. Dr. Reeves approaches at a measured pace, not running, not aggressive. Her hands are visible. Dr. Reeves calm. Excuse me, are you calling a tow for that vehicle? Officer Davis turning, yes, ma'am. It's in a private lot without authorization. Dr. Reeves, I'm authorized. That's my car and this is my property. Officer Davis, do you have a parking permit for this lot? Dr. Reeves, I don't need a permit. I own the lot. I own the building. A pause. The body cam catches Davis looking her over, the blazer, the briefcase, the confidence. Officer Davis, dismissive, I'll need you to prove that. She reached into her blazer, produced the deed, a notarized Mecklenburg County recorded document, 3 pages, bearing the Register of Deeds seal. Davis took it, held it for 11 seconds, the body cam timestamps it, and handed it back. Officer Davis, this doesn't mean anything to me out here, ma'am. The tow truck is already on its way. Dr. Reeves, her voice dropping, Officer, I need you to cancel that tow right now. Officer Davis, ma'am, step back from the vehicle. He reached for his radio. Dr. Reeves did not step back. Reeves gave one interview to WCNC Charlotte, sitting at a conference table in her office, still in the same charcoal blazer. The body cam footage, released under a public records request filed by her attorney, Marcus Tillman of Tillman & Associates, at 9:02 a.m. Wednesday, confirmed every detail of her account. Officer Davis was placed on administrative leave with pay at 5:30 p.m. Wednesday. That was the beginning of high. Before we get to what happened in the next 4 minutes, where are you watching from? If this is your first time on this channel, hit subscribe. We cover the stories that don't make the front page. What happened next is documented in 3 separate places. Davis's body cam, a parking lot security camera operated by a neighboring tenant, and the cell phone footage of a UPS driver named Marcus Webb who had just completed a delivery to Unit 3. All 3 recordings capture the same sequence. Davis called for backup at 8:11 a.m. 2 units responded, Officer Sarah Pelosi, 31, 6 years on the force, and Officer Derek Huang, 29, 4 years on the force. Both arrived within 6 minutes. By the time they arrived, Davis had placed Dr. Reeves in handcuffs, the charge listed on the arrest report. Obstruction of a law enforcement officer, Dr. Reeves was placed in the back of Davis's patrol vehicle at 8:17 a.m. Her briefcase, containing her laptop, client files, and her deed, was placed in the trunk. She spent the next 4 hours in processing at the Mecklenburg County Law Enforcement Center on East 4th Street. At 12:34 p.m., a supervising sergeant, Sergeant Angela Moreno, 44, 18 years on the force, reviewed the arrest report. She pulled the property ownership records. She cross-referenced the deed number Dr. Reeves had provided at booking. It took Sergeant Moreno less than 3 minutes to confirm what Dr. Reeves had said from the beginning. The charges were dropped at 1:02 p.m., but Dr. Reeves wasn't released until 1:47 p.m. She had missed her 9:30 tenant meeting. One tenant, a physical therapy practice occupying Unit 4, had waited 45 minutes before leaving. They broke their lease 2 months later. Should Officer Davis have been terminated immediately or given a chance at retraining? Yes or no? Drop it in the comments. It's by 3:00 p.m. That Tuesday, the cell phone footage Marcus Webb had recorded 4 minutes and 12 seconds of Dr. Camille Reeves being handcuffed in her own parking lot had been shared 340 times on Facebook. By midnight, 18,000 shares. By Wednesday morning, local news station Afternoon, National Wire Services picked it up. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department released a statement at 4:47 p.m. Wednesday, the department is aware of a video circulating on social media. We take all allegations of officer misconduct seriously and have opened an internal review. 48 words, no apology, no officer named. Troubles, not the end. The Internal Affairs investigation into Officer Raymond Davis opened formally on March 6th, 2 days after the arrest. What investigators found went beyond the Garrison Street incident. Davis's personnel file, reviewed as part of the IA process, contained 3 prior civilian complaints, all filed within his 18 months on the force. All 3 involved allegations of dismissive or disrespectful conduct during calls. None had resulted in formal discipline. 2 had been marked unfounded following supervisory review. 1 was still pending, his academy evaluation records, subpoenaed as part of Dr. Reeves's subsequent civil lawsuit told a more specific story. A field training officer's report from September 2022 noted, Officer Davis demonstrates a consistent pattern of failing to verify available information before escalating a situation. Recommend additional supervision during solo patrol assignments. That recommendation had not been implemented. Davis had been cleared for solo patrol in November 2022, 4 months before the Garrison Street incident. The IA investigation concluded on April 18, 2023, 43 days after the arrest. Failure to verify property ownership prior to initiating tow. Unlawful detainment of a civilian with verified right of presence. Filing an arrest report containing material omissions. Officer Raymond Davis was terminated on April 22, 2023. He was 26 years old. His law enforcement career lasted exactly 547 days. Here's the question that's been on my mind since I first found this case. The Academy flagged Davis. The warning was in writing. The supervisor signed off on solo patrol anyway. Who is actually responsible here? The officers, or the system that sent him out alone? Drop your answer in the comments. I want to know what you think. Attorney Marcus Tillman filed suit in the United States District Court for the Western District of North Carolina on June 9, 2023, 97 days after the arrest. The complaint named 3 defendants, Officer Raymond Davis, individually, Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Chief Gerald Odom, in his official capacity in Mecklenburg County. Counts alleged violation of Dr. Reeves's 4th Amendment right against unreasonable seizure, violation of her 14th Amendment right to equal protection, and a claim under 42U. SC paragraph 1983 for deprivation of civil rights under color of law. The complaint also named a monoclaim, a legal theory holding the municipality liable not just for Davis's individual actions, but for the systemic failure to act on documented warnings in his personnel file. That Monell claim was the one that changed everything. The county's legal team moved to dismiss in August 2023. The motion was denied in its entirety by U.S. District Judge Patricia Halford. On October 3, 2023, Discovery produced 400 pages of department records, including the 3 prior complaints against Davis, his academy evaluations, and internal emails between supervisors discussing his clearance for solo patrol. One email, sent by a watch commander in November 2022, read, in part, Davis has issues but we're short-staffed. Clear him and monitor. That email was Exhibit 47 in the civil trial. The case never reached a jury. Settlement negotiations began in January 2024. On March 19, 2024, exactly 1 year and 15 days after the arrest, Mecklenburg County agreed to a settlement of $14.3 million. The agreement included $9. $1 million in compensatory damages to Dr. Reeves, $2.4 million for lost business income, including the tenant who broke the lease, $1, $8 million in attorney fees, and $1 million designated for mandatory department-wide training on property rights and de-escalation protocols. The settlement also required the department to conduct an independent audit of all pending civilian complaints, a review that ultimately led to the reopening of 4 previously dismissed cases. Dr. Camille Reeves declined every interview request after the settlement was announced. Through her attorney, she issued one statement: "The money does not return the morning I spent in a cell." It does not return what was taken from me in that parking lot. But if this outcome means one officer thinks twice, checks one more record, makes one fewer assumption, then something meaningful came from the worst day of my professional life. The Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department implemented mandatory property rights verification training in August 2024. Every officer in the department, 1,047 at the time of the rollout, completed the 6-hour course. Officer Davis did not return to law enforcement. He is not permitted to do so. Under the terms of a consent agreement signed as part of the settlement, the Garrison Street Commerce Center is still fully operational. Space 1A in the parking lot has a new sign, a black and white placard that simply reads owner. Dr. Reeves parks there every Tuesday. If you believe that accountability matters, not just for officers, but for the systems that train them, clear them, and then look away, hit subscribe. This channel exists to find the cases that get buried, tell them the right way, and make sure they don't disappear. We've got more coming. Don't miss them.